What was once casually called leaky gut now has a more scientific term, endotoxemia. This condition occurs when harmful endotoxins, substances released by certain gut bacteria, pass through the intestinal wall and enter the bloodstream. And that's when things start to go wrong. These endotoxins don't just stay in the gut. They travel through the body, causing inflammation that can show up as problems in the brain, skin, joints, and muscles. Your gut, in many ways, is the gatekeeper of your overall health. So what makes the gut lining more permeable? What leads to this leaky gut? One major factor is the overgrowth of fecal-type microbes in areas of the digestive tract where they shouldn't be, particularly the upper gastrointestinal, GI, tract. When these microbes colonize regions like the stomach or small intestine, they disrupt the natural balance and make the gut wall easier to penetrate. Another major contributor is the use of emulsifying agents, additives in many processed foods. These agents break down the mucus barrier that normally protects the intestinal lining, making it more vulnerable. A lack of butyrate, a beneficial short-chain fatty acid, also contributes to poor gut health. Butyrate is produced when healthy. Gut bacteria digest certain fibers, like inulin. If you're not feeding your microbes the right kind of fiber, they can't produce the nutrients that protect your gut barrier. And of course, there's wheat, specifically the gliadin protein in wheat, which has been shown in numerous scientific studies to increase intestinal permeability. This becomes particularly dangerous when combined with conditions like SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. The mix of wheat and SIBO can create a perfect storm of inflammation, weight gain, and even trigger autoimmune disorders. All of this points to a radically different way of understanding disease. We're not just dealing with isolated symptoms. What happens in the gut is often the hidden root of what's happening in the rest of the body. Now let's talk about something particularly fascinating: colon cancer. Emerging research shows a clear connection between colonic dysbiosis, an imbalance of microbes in the colon, and the development of this disease. This isn't SIBO, which affects the small intestine. This is a deeper issue within the large intestine. And among the culprits being studied, one microbe is stealing the spotlight: Fusobacterium nucleatum. This bacterium is usually found in small numbers in the mouth. On its own, it's typically harmless. But when you have bleeding gums, gingivitis or periodontitis, the levels of Fusobacterium can spike dramatically. From there, it enters the bloodstream, yes, from the mouth, and can find its way to the colon, where it settles in. Shockingly, this microbe has been found in high concentrations within colon cancer tumors. It's not just in the tumor either, it's also present in metastatic lesions like those found in the liver when colon cancer spreads. Even more astonishing, when researchers introduced this microbe into the colons of healthy mice, it triggered colon cancer. While the research is still emerging, there's even early evidence that eliminating Fusobacterium may lead to remission in some patients. This represents a larger, relatively new understanding in medical science: the phenomenon of microbial translocation. That's when bacteria from one part of the body migrate and establish themselves in entirely different areas. Take, for example, Lactobacillus crispatus. This strain is often used by women as an oral probiotic to treat vaginal dysbiosis. But here's the mind-blowing part. When taken orally, it still finds its way to the vaginal canal. There's no direct anatomical connection, but the bacteria migrate, likely through the perineal area, where body parts are in close proximity. Even more surprising, the same probiotic strain has been shown to colonize the bladder, a place long thought to be sterile. According to studies from Loyola University, the presence of L. crispatus in the bladder can cut urinary tract infections in half. That's a 50% reduction through a simple oral probiotic. Another example of microbial translocation comes from the mouth. The bacterium Porphyromonas gingivalis, commonly associated with gum disease, has been discovered in the brains of people with dementia. Is this a direct cause or just a correlation? We don't know yet. To prove it, we'd need to conduct unethical experiments, like intentionally introducing the bacteria into thousands of people and observing the results. Obviously, that's not happening, but the evidence is mounting, and it's becoming hard to ignore. The challenge we face is that much of the medical system hasn't caught up to this science. If you walked into a doctor's office and said, "I think my SIBO is causing endotoxemia, which might be why I have psoriasis," you'd likely be dismissed. You might hear, "There's no such thing," or "Stop reading internet blogs." This is despite the fact that thousands of peer-reviewed studies have documented these exact links. The problem isn't the science. It's the time it takes for scientific discoveries to become mainstream clinical practice. Even if you're lucky enough to find a gastroenterologist who knows about SIBO or SIFO, small intestinal fungal overgrowth, the standard protocol is typically a prescription for rifaximin, an antibiotic also known as Xifaxan. It's expensive, can cause side effects, and works only about 50–60% of the time. Even then, recurrence is common. Patients often find themselves stuck in a cycle of treatment and relapse, requiring multiple courses of antibiotics, which only further damage the microbiome, leaving them worse off each time. This is where probiotic therapy becomes incredibly powerful. In particular, the use of a specific kind of homemade SIBO yogurt has shown great promise. This yogurt is made using 3 targeted species and strains of probiotics that specifically colonize the upper GI tract, where SIBO develops. One of these strains is Lactobacillus gasseri BNR17, which is notable for producing up to 7 different natural antibiotics. These compounds are effective against pathogenic microbes like E. coli and Salmonella, the same types of bacteria that cause SIBO and contribute to endotoxemia. By rebalancing the microbial ecosystem, this yogurt doesn't just suppress the bad bacteria, it strengthens the gut barrier, lowers inflammation, and supports the immune system. People who have used it have reported impressive improvements, including better digestion, clearer skin, improved mental clarity, and reduced symptoms of autoimmune disease. And it's done without prescriptions, without side effects, and with long-term sustainability. This new understanding of the microbiome, gut permeability, and microbial translocation is fundamentally reshaping how we view health. We're learning that the body is not just a collection of isolated systems, but an interconnected network where microbes play an enormous role. Whether it's the gut, the brain, the bladder, or even the skin, these tiny organisms influence every aspect of our well-being. The real challenge moving forward is awareness. Too many people are suffering from chronic issues that may have microbial roots, and yet they're being treated symptom by symptom, with no regard for the bigger picture. It's time we start thinking holistically, looking not just at individual symptoms, but at the microbiome, at gut health, and at how microbes can travel and impact areas of the body we never thought possible. The gut is the command center. When you fix it, you fix everything else.